Alright guys, so this is the update to my lightsaber project, or laser-induced plasma saber project. I asked the AI to give me a 2,000-word essay on my proposed laser-induced plasma saber technology. And it does, but I asked him to do it again and avoid any redundancies and include a little more detail on all the features. And so he goes into it again, but he doesn't finish. So I ask him to finish, and he does it again and still doesn't finish. So I ask him to do it again, and he still didn't finish. So I dropped it, and I asked him to write a press release. And he does. He gives me a really good press release, because I'm going to need that at some point. And then I asked him to write a short story about the inventor and the discovery of this concept, this technology, and make it a funny story. The inventor's name should be Jason Joplin. And so he says, once upon a time, there was a brilliant inventor named Jason Joplin. He was always tinkering with new ideas and inventions, but nothing seemed to quite capture the world's attention. That is, until one day he had a stroke of genius. While watching Star Wars for the millionth time, Jason couldn't help but think about how cool it would be to have a real-life lightsaber. He knew it was impossible, or so he thought. He began to do some research and found that plasma technology had advanced enough to make his dream a reality. Excited by this discovery, Jason set out to build his very own lightsaber. He spent countless hours in his garage experimenting with different materials and techniques. He tried using traditional lights, but they just weren't bright enough. He even tried using regular lasers, but they couldn't create the iconic lightsaber hum or beam. Just when he was about to give up, he stumbled upon the concept of a laser-induced plasma saber. He knew he had finally found the answer. With this new technology, he could create a lightsaber that not only looked and sounded like the ones in Star Wars, but it also had the added bonus of being able to change the blade color to any color of the rainbow. With his new invention, Jason quickly became the talk of the town. Everyone wanted to get their hands on a laser-induced plasma saber. He was even invited to showcase his invention at a local science fair where he won first place. But that's not the end of the story. Jason didn't stop there. He continued to improve upon his invention and eventually caught the attention of Disney. They were so impressed that they offered him a deal to bring his laser-induced plasma sabers to their theme parks. And that, my friends, is how Jason Joplin went from a backyard inventor to the creator of the world's first real-life lightsaber. It just goes to show sometimes the impossible is just a plasma discharge away. Oh, goodness. And so I asked him to continue the story. And he does. He continues. He's like, once Jason Joplin had the idea of his laser-induced plasma saber, he knew he needed a team to bring it to life. He reached out to his old college buddy, Mark, who was a master at building things from scratch. Mark was a bit skeptical at first, but after Jason explained the concept and showed him some rough sketches, he was sold. Next, they brought on Samantha, a recent graduate with a degree in electrical engineering. She was tasked with figuring out the best way to power the saber and make sure it was safe to use. The team had a few setbacks along the way, like when they accidentally set the lab on fire. Oops. But they were determined to make it work. They spent continuous hours in the lab experimenting with different materials and methods. One day, while they were all sitting around and brainstorming, Jason had an epiphany. He realized that they needed to incorporate a Tesla coil into the design. Mark was a bit dubious, but Samantha was excited by the challenge. So they set to work building the Tesla coil system, and it was a huge success. They were able to create a stable plasma discharge that was the perfect size for a lightsaber blade. They even managed to get it to change colors on command. With the plasma and the Tesla coil working together seamlessly, the team focused on the hilt of the saber. Jason wanted it to be sleek and ergonomic, so he worked on a 3D model for weeks. Finally, the day of the big test arrived. They all gathered in the lab, excitement and nerves running high. Jason switched on the saber, and to their amazement, it worked perfectly. The plasma blade was stable and strong, and it even made that iconic whoosh sound. As they all cheered and hugged each other, Jason knew that they had created something truly special. He couldn't wait to see what the future held for his laser-induced plasma saber. But little did they know that their discovery would soon be known by the world. And the inventor, Jason Joplin, would become a household name. Everyone would be talking about the new laser-induced plasma saber technology and the team behind it. It's clear that the team's hard work and determination paid off, as they had created something truly revolutionary, and it was only the beginning. And so I'd tell him to continue. And he says, as Jason continued to tinker with his laser-induced plasma saber technology, he started to invite some of his friends over to his lab to show off his invention. One of them was his old colleague buddy, Tom. Tom was a bit of a skeptic and often teased Jason about his crazy ideas. But when he saw the plasma saber in action, he was completely blown away. "Dude, this is amazing!" Tom exclaimed as he watched the plasma blade slice through a block of wood with ease. "You're gonna be rich!" Jason grinned, feeling a sense of validation for all the hard work he had put into the project. He also couldn't help but feel a little bit of satisfaction from finally impressing Tom. "Thanks, man," he said. "But I'm not just in it for the money. I want to revolutionize the world with this technology." Tom rolled his eyes, but couldn't deny the potential of the invention. "Well, you better get to work on that patent then," he said. And that's exactly what Jason did. He spent the next few months filing patents and creating a business plan to bring the laser-induced plasma saber to the market. He even hired a team of engineers to help him improve the design and bring down the cost of production. The team worked day and night, but they finally succeeded in creating a working prototype that was both affordable and reliable. And with that, Jason Joplin's company, Plasma Sabers, Inc., was born. The first thing they did was to organize a press conference to showcase the technology and the potential uses. Everyone was in awe of the invention, and the media couldn't stop talking about it. Orders started pouring in from all over the world, and Jason became a household name. But despite all the success and fame, Jason never forgot where he came from. He always made sure to give back to the community and to support young inventors just like himself. And that's how, with a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, Jason Joplin went from a crazy inventor to a visionary businessman. The end. Isn't that interesting? And I asked him to name the story, and he's like, Jason Joplin and the Plasma Saber Adventure. Or The Plasma Saber Prodigy, the hilarious discovery of Jason Joplin. Or The Laser Knight, the hilarious journey of Jason Joplin and his Plasma Saber. Or Plasma Saber Adventure. Or Saber Tales, the hilarious discovery of the Plasma Saber. And then I asked him to rename the inventor to make it funnier. And he's like, Jazzy Joplin and the Plasma Saber. And I'm like, no, hold on, dang it. So I tell him I don't like that one. Like Jason Sparks. Because it sounds like Jason's Sparks. Jason Sparks. Okay, Jason Sparks, the accidental inventor of the Plasma Saber, could be a title of the story. What about Jason Sparks' Plasma Arcs? And that's a great title for the story about Jason Sparks and his discovery of the laser-induced Plasma Saber technology. It encapsulates both the inventor's name and the key element of the technology in a catchy and memorable way. So what would be a good funny title? Sparks Fly, the hilarious tale of Jason Sparks and his Plasma Saber Arcs. Oh, goodness. And so we eventually get to something like Sparks Fly with Jason Saber. Sparks Fly, the Plasma Saber Chronicles of Jason Sparks. Okay, so the inventor's name is Jason Sparks. Instead of Jason Joplin for the story. And so I asked for an introductory script, and he gives me a good introductory script, but I gotta go, so I'll make this part 1 of part 2.